Let's see how to add levels of automation as you fly the airplane. The lowest level of automation is manual flight with the primary flight controls. You can control the airplane to follow the flight instrument bugs on the PFD. The MCP is used to set the PFD bugs. If you follow all the bugs, the PFD and MCP will look like this: airspeed at the selected speed bug, heading at the selected heading bug, and altitude at the selected altitude bug. You control the level of automation to use with the MCP. Let's look more at the MCP before we use it to increase the level of automation. The MCP has controls for a number of automation functions. These include flight directors for roll and pitch commands, the autothrottle system for automatic thrust control, and the autopilot system. There are also controls to set airspeed, heading or track, vertical speed or flight path angle, and altitude. The MCP values are shown by the bugs on the PFD. The values are also commands to the autopilot when it is engaged. Next, you will see how to use these MCP controls to change the level of automation. The flight directors supply pitch and roll commands on the PFD for you or the autopilot to follow. Move the captain's flight director switch to on. We'll set the first officer's switch to on too. The flight director annunciation tells you what level of automation is in control of the airplane. In this example, manual control with flight director commands. The flight director pitch and roll bars help you follow the MCP values. In this example, you must manually set the thrust to control the airspeed. When the autoflight system comes on during wings level flight, it automatically shows heading hold and vertical speed commands. These commands will be talked about more in a different lesson. If necessary, the AFDS moves the bars to command you back to the selected heading and vertical speed. Now let's add automatic thrust control. To use the autothrottle, the system must be armed and then engaged. These switches arm the autothrottle. There is one switch for each engine. During normal operations, the two switches are set to arm. Do this now. The autothrottle can now be engaged. These three lines point to the switches that will engage the autothrottle. Push the autothrottle switch. The light in the switch tells you the autothrottle is engaged. The speed annunciation lets you verify that the autothrottles are in control of the airspeed. The autothrottle automatically changes the thrust to hold the selected airspeed as you manually follow the flight directors. The flight director and autothrottle are in operation, but you must continue to manually fly the airplane. Let's add one more level of automation and have the autopilot take control. The autopilot supplies automatic flight path control. The system can be engaged with one of these switches. Engage the autopilot. The autopilot engaged light comes on, and the autopilot annunciation on the PFD lets you verify the autopilot is engaged. The flight director continues to show the flight path that the autopilot will follow. The autothrottle continues to control the airspeed. Let's increase the automation to its highest level and connect the FMC to the AutoFlight system. The FMC supplies flight management functions, such as automatic lateral and vertical guidance, and other navigation functions that include navigation radio tuning, position, time and fuel calculations, and thrust management functions to increase fuel economy. You control the FMC with the data you enter into the CDU. During pre-flight, you will enter route and altitude restrictions, a departure, performance data, and takeoff data. Then, while you are en route, holds, and arrival, approach and missed approach procedures, and landing data. You can also make changes to follow ATC clearances. You will see how to use these pages in other lessons. You connect the FMC to the AutoFlight system with these MCP switches. Lateral navigation, or LNAV, automatically follows your lateral flight plan. Vertical navigation, or VNAV, automatically follows your vertical flight plan. LNAV and VNAV can be used one at a time or together. It is time to connect the FMC to the AutoFlight system. Push the LNAV and VNAV switches. The switch lights tell you that LNAV and VNAV are selected. The LNAV and VNAV annunciations verify that they are engaged. The FMC now sends commands to the AutoFlight system to automatically fly the airplane along your flight plan route. The best automation level to use can change as you follow different types of ATC clearances. If a clearance includes lateral and vertical restrictions, it is best to use the highest level of automation. This lets the AutoFlight system follow the restriction data in the FMC. Normally, you will use this level for most of your flight. To make a temporary route or altitude changes, you can lower the level of automation and use only the AutoFlight system. Changes you make on the MCP will override or disengage the FMC. Sometimes you must disconnect all automation and manually fly the airplane, such as during a TCAS alert. You are always in control of the level of automation that is used.